All right, guys. This is going to be my last two videos I'm going to do for today because I got some stuff to do. This first one should be short. The second one will be a little longer. And the second video is going to have something incredible in it. But first things first, let me apologize right now in advance because as I just went back and listened to the last video I did about Jonathan Kleck's prophetic utterance and the part about the abomination of desolation, towards the end of the video, the sound gets kind of crazy for whatever reason, and it makes my voice sound crazy, you know, that whole thing where your voice sounds creepy and demonic or whatever. I'm sure the devil doesn't want this information out. So maybe that was him, or maybe it was really just a technical thing that went wrong or whatever. But because I'm in a rush and I need to get so much information out and I got things to do for today, so I'm cutting this short with these last two videos. I'm not going to go back and redo that video. I'll just leave it. So you guys will just have to bear with me and deal with it. It's only a few seconds of my voice sounding crazy towards the end of the video, but you'll hear it and understand it and get the gist of what I'm saying, just even if you got to listen to it a few times. I'm not going to let the devil stop me from getting this out there because you guys absolutely must hear this. And again, this here is part one that I'm going to do. The last two videos I'm going to do, this is part one I'm going to explain. But when I get to part two of this, I'm going to leave you with an absolute stunner. I'm going to leave you with something that is going to completely blow your mind. So let me explain this in this short video. The second one will be longer, but I can barely contain my excitement in waiting to explain this revelation to you. So I got to get right to this. I'm not going to let the devil stop me from showing you this. So here's part one real quick. The Great American Eclipse of 2017. All right. August 21st, 2017, 8/21/17. Now, right off the top, I'll explain to you how that was 3 weeks before September 11th. It was exactly 3 weeks before, which goes back to what I told you, the 17th of Tammuz. This was God showing us an event happening that will be a 17th of Tammuz. It was 3 weeks before September 11th. So the 17th of Tammuz, 3 weeks, and there you even have the 21 right there, 21 days before a 9/11 event. So what happened with this eclipse? Okay, here's some facts. The eclipse passed through 12 states. That was a connection to Israel. That was God connecting America to Israel. The 12 tribes. Jesus had 12 disciples. Virgo in Revelation 12 having 12 stars upon her head, which represents the 12 tribes of Israel and 12 disciples. All right, so that's him. God was connecting America to Israel. The eclipse passed through and divided America, represent the UN, when the UN divides Israel. This is all coming up at Hanukkah, but Trump is about to start this now during the fall feast when they're going to, I believe on Tabernacles, they may get this done and decide to go ahead and divide America. But Obama's going to be the one to confirm the covenant and actually divide it. So the eclipse divided, the shadow divided America, showing the UN when they divide the 12, Israel, America is going to be a part of dividing it, and it's going to bring judgment on America over the course of a 3-week period until the 9th of Av event. But here's some more details. The eclipse began in the 33rd state, which was Oregon. Now, why is that important? It took me a while to figure this out. A lot of prayer and thinking about this before the Lord showed me this, and it was actually pretty simple. God was showing that these events are going to take place at the time of 1/3. When 1/3 is all that's left. Remember, as Renee Moses has showed, and I've explained to you, the Great Tribulation was supposed to be just 3 years. It was supposed to start in 2017 at Hanukkah, but that is when Donald Trump stood up and became the first president to proclaim Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. That was about 2 weeks before Hanukkah. And then, under tremendous pressure, on the 7th day of Hanukkah, December 21st, 2017, he again stood firm in his stance and had his people at the UN defend Israel and say, we stand by Israel. Jerusalem is their capital. It does not belong to the Palestinian people. Because of that, God delayed his hand of judgment and shortened the Great Tribulation. This is no surprise. It shouldn't be anything you question or be surprised about because Jesus told you that those days would be shortened. So what was supposed to be 3 years has been shortened now to just 1 year. What is 1/3 of 3 years? 1 year. So the eclipse happening in the 33rd state was God telling us that it will begin when there's just 1/3 left. Because 1/3% breaks down to 33.33%. That's what the 33 is. And that's why you always seen the 33rd degree Freemasons and everything like that being the highest level of Freemasonry. That's what they were telling you. Satan has always known his time is going to be divided down to just 33.33%, 1/3 of the time. If you don't believe me, go look at Revelation chapter 8. Every judgment that happens is spoken of as 1/3. 1/3 of the grass was burnt up. 1/3 of the trees. 1/3 of the days and nights were darkened. God was showing that he's shortening it all down to just 1/3. And actually the phrase 1/3 or a third was mentioned like 14 times in Revelation. Even that is 1/3 because this was all supposed to be 42 months. Remember that the longest time frame we were taught for the Great Tribulation was 3.5 years, which is 42 months. Shorten that down, it comes down to just 14 months. But then Jesus in Matthew 24 spoke of Antiochus Epiphanes and what happened to the Jews, which gives us a time frame of just 3 years instead of 3.5 years. But then he said even those days would be shortened, and that's how you get shortened down to just 1/3. So again, 1/3 is 33.33%. The eclipse began in the 33rd state, and God confirmed it because the eclipse ended or exited out of America on the 33rd parallel. It exited out of South Carolina. It began in Oregon, 33rd state. It exited out on the 33rd parallel, which is in South Carolina. So God was showing that the troublesome time is going to be connected to America dividing the 12, dividing Israel, at the time when there's just 1/3 left, which points to Hanukkah 2019. Remember, the 3 years of Great Tribulation were supposed to be from Hanukkah 2017 until Hanukkah 2020 when Jesus returns. Go to Renee Moses' Rapture Puzzle to understand that. But it's been shortened to just 1/3, which is 1 year, showing that it will start on Hanukkah of 2019 until Hanukkah of 2020. So the Lord was showing us this will begin on Hanukkah when there's just 1/3 left. And it is connected to, remember, the eclipse passed through 7 cities named Salem. 7 Salems, which is a reference to, I've been through all this before in previous videos, but the 7 Salems was pointing to the 7 kings of Revelation 17. The last 7 presidents that have attempted Salem. Salem comes from the word Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, which means foundation of peace. Salem means peace. 7 cities named Salem. The eclipse shadow passed through these 7 cities. God was showing the 7 kings of Revelation 17 that have attempted peace. It's judgment falling on America because of the completion of the 7 kings. Remember, this was going back to the very first president that tried to do it in September of 1978, Jimmy Carter. Number 2 was Ronald Reagan. Number 3, George Bush Sr. Number 4, Bill Clinton. Number 5, George Bush Jr. Number 6, Obama. And number 7, Trump. All 7 of these men are the 7 heads of the beast. Why are they the beast? Because they serve Satan, and they were all attempting to usurp the throne of Jesus Christ and be the peacemaker and divide Israel by creating peace in the Middle East, a false peace. They all tried. Only Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Peace will only come when Jesus comes back. But all these men have tried to usurp the throne of Jesus. That's why they are the heads of the beast. The last 7 presidents trying to usurp the throne of Jesus and be a peacemaker in the Middle East. God was showing that when the 7th man, 7 is completion, attempts it, when he does it, that will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. The judgment will fall on America. And it just so happened to be a period of testing. In the Bible, testing is the number 40. Well, when the first man did it, the first king, Jimmy Carter, it was September of 1978. Well, guess what? 40 years later, to the exact month, September 2018 was when king number 7, Donald Trump, first went to the United Nations with his offer of a peace plan to divide Israel. That was the completion. Now here, 1 year later, at the time of 1/3, Hanukkah 2019, they will actually divide Israel, and it will be Obama that confirms the covenant. And that's why the eclipse passed through the 12 states, representing a division of Israel that's caused by America and their 7 kings, and the UN, which is in America, United States, at the time of 1/3, and it will begin a 3-week period of trouble leading to the 9/11, the birth of the Antichrist, and the destruction of the temple. That is what we were being shown with that eclipse in 2017. But when I tell you that, and I barely can contain my excitement on this, I can't wait to show you this in part 2. This is the last video I'm going to do today. When I tell you that there was more to this that the Lord showed me, this is going to absolutely stun you. Wait until you see what I'm going to show you now. This is going to blow you away, that no one that I've seen picked up on about this eclipse. When God showed this to me, I almost did backflips. I could not believe this eclipse was pointing to this. Wait till you see what we were being shown. And it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is going to happen in December. It's proof that the birth is in December. I'm going to do this right now, and then I'm going to leave it alone for today. I decided to save the best for last because this might be the greatest thing that I've ever presented on this channel, that I've ever been shown by the Lord. This is incredible. Stay tuned for this right now.